Welcome back, everyone, to the Frontline with Joe and Joe Pasillo and Joe Rossinello. And once more, dear brothers and sisters, let us go in to the breach. Joe, we're in the breach. You and I are always in the breach. America is in the breach. Those who are fighting out there on social media to try to raise the consciousness of the American people in the best way we can, which is by using our God-given right and our First Amendment protected right to free speech. I don't know, Joe. I don't know what these corporations are thinking. I did a video, okay? And don't take this the wrong way, Joe, by myself, because you weren't available that day, where I pointed out the Bud Light thing with Dylan Mulvaney, okay? It got, I hit it right, and it got, like, I don't know, 60, 70,000 views, because I thought I was saying the truth. I was like, what is Bud Light thinking? Now, Bud Light is owned by Anheuser-Busch. Joe, who owns Anheuser-Busch? InBev?
InBev, it's a Belgian company.
Okay, InBev owns Anheuser-Busch. Molson Coors owns Miller Lite. Now, these are, Joe, listen, I'm sorry. I'm a brokester, okay? I go to work every day to pay the bills. So I don't make a multi-million-dollar salary, okay? But I think I'm a lot smarter than these people from a business point of view. Why would Molson Coors now go woke in the midst of what just happened with Dylan Mulvaney when they have no earthly reason to, certainly no business reason to? And rather than talk about transgenderism, Miller Lite is trying to appeal to women. But what kind of women? Well, let's watch this, Joe. It's not long, but I really need you to break it down because I'm shaking my head in disbelief.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild.
Just want to admit it's all, let everybody know it's all beeped out, but this so-called comedian uses profanity, but it's beeped out.
It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost.
Joe, we gotta leave it there because I don't want to offend the audience. I'm quite frankly, I use profanity. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm offended by that whole commercial. Joe, you got to help me, okay? Because first of all, the idea that women are the first ones that ever made beer, that's like trying to say that Cleopatra was black, okay? Which is what the recent movie that came out is trying to suggest. Just so everybody knows, Cleopatra was a Ptolemy, and the Ptolemies were Greeks. Leaving that aside. So it's revisionist history. This so-called comedian, she's engaging in revisionist history, okay? The bottom line is this. Who cares who first made beer? Who really cares? Okay. The fact is that, yes, men like to see women in bikinis. They like those ads. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. That's how beer is generally sold. Here's my point. Do you think that your antidote to that is to get this woman up there and somehow, some way, you're going to wake my mind that, I really should start drinking Miller Lite because this feminist comedian tells me that I should. And everything I've been doing up till now and all the things I've been thinking in my mind are all crap. All right. And if I'm a corporation like Miller Lite, maybe I should appeal to women like this. Joe, maybe they just really ought to all go broke. I mean, because I just don't know anymore. I know that was a little bit muddled on my part, but my mind's going a million miles an hour because I don't know how to react to this anymore. You got to help me, Joe.
Well, here's the deal. This is a result of ESG, environmental social governance, which is coming out of the World Economic Forum, the UN, and the WHO.
And BlackRock.
If you ask me, is the unholy trinity, which is the evil axis that's going on the earth. But I digress. What do I mean by this? They feel that they control enough power centers, Hollywood, the government, corporate America, that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what they say. They have enough power centers that it doesn't matter what they say, because the old advertising is appealing to the people, the customer, because men drink beer. But they feel that irregardless, you're still going to buy that beer. They think you're stupid. They think you're a monkey, that you're just going to, you hand the monkey a banana and the monkey's going to eat the banana, even if you beat the monkey. That's point one. Point two, they feel and they know that they control enough of the power centers that they can get away with anything.
And they are.
You know something? They are.
They are.
And they don't need the support of the people. And that's, my friends, dangerous, because that's when totalitarianism takes hold of a country, when the voice of the people no longer matter. And you know something? The voice of the people in many segments of our society no longer matter. It's
You're right.
happening. We're at the beginning stages of it, and it's progressing.
The thing is this. So now you would say, well, what do we do about it, Joe Rossinello? And Joe Pasillo? That's a whole lot of complaining. Well, there's a number of things. First of all, boycott. Every guy in America, pick your non-woke beverage, okay, and go with that. Don't just go to the store and buy the cheapest one. Go get the one that's, at the very least, not going to offend your worldview, not offend your values, okay? That's number one. Number two, we need Wall Street reform. BlackRock should not be as powerful as they are, because BlackRock and others, but mainly BlackRock, are the ones that are the economic engine of the World Economic Forum. Joe, they own positions in all these companies, and they go in there and they bulldoze these boards of directors into doing what they want, as you mentioned, with ESG. Oh, are you environmentally in line? Joe, it reminds me of that movie where the Nazi's standing there in the street and a guy comes walking along and he looks and he goes, papers, please.
That's right.
Papers. All right. Are you environmentally in line? Are you socially in line? Are you fully compliant with gender equality? All right. Do you have a certain amount of transgenders working for your company? Larry Fink should not have that much power, yet he does. Why does he? Because then you get these unions. A lot of public sector unions have their pensions. Lots of money, Joe. Large pools of cash that are sitting over at BlackRock. Well, people need to start questioning those things, but people don't. They're like, oh, is my 401k growing? Is my pension growing? Is it sound? They don't care, but you're giving power to the very people that want to wreck you and destroy you. I mean, look at this woman. Is she really supposed to sell beer? What sells beer is humor. Now, again, I'm not trying to suggest that women in bikinis is the way to go. However, women in bikinis appeal to men. And if you want to sell beer to a group of people who is your main customer, you want to appeal to men. That's the way it is. And humor. Remember the Miller Lite commercials from back in the day with all the comedians? Tastes great, less filling. Tastes great, less. Now, that was a commercial. That was a real commercial. Made you laugh. You know what, honey? I'm going to go get a case. I'm not buying Budweiser. I'm going to buy Miller Lite. But they don't think that way. So there are things we could do. Wall Street reform comes to mind. Boycotting. I think that started with Dylan Mulvaney. Buddy of mine, I'm going to throw this over to you, Joe. Buddy of mine trades a lot of stocks. He told me he's made a bet against Bud's BUD. That's their symbol. This is not investment advice. Please don't take it this way. But he's making a bet against Bud because they're not actually telling people what the negative consequences of the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco are until their quarterly numbers come out. And he's betting that when their quarterly numbers come out, they're going to have to, they have to be in full compliance. You're in compliance. You know this. Their numbers have to be accurate. And they're going to show that, no. The boycott against Bud Light has actually been devastating. And I believe that to be true. People need to do more of that. Now we're going to have to throw Molson Coors into that mix. Stop buying their products, okay? And again, try to elect officials that are going to do something about real Wall Street reform, because it's from BlackRock and others that they're controlling all this. It is the major center of power that you're describing, Joe Rossinello.
We'll never get the reform because all those people are on board. What has to happen is what you said, the financial boycotts. We have to start our own alternate economies. That is how Gandhi threw the English out of India. He took away their salt production and their textile industry. There was enough of a groundswell that he took their legs out from under them economically. People have to be disciplined and fed up enough. And frankly, we're not there yet. It's going to get progressively worse before it gets better. But ultimately, as the English pushed the Indians to a point where they were willing to pay that price and sacrifice, they took their legs out. Economic boycotts work. We've seen this in Disney. They replaced their CEO. People don't take it far enough. Stop going. Keep not going. Budweiser, cut them off forever. Starbucks, they made statements about traditional marriage. Cut them off forever. When enough, the NFL, the black national anthem, what is that? That doesn't unify the country. Cut them off forever. Baseball said they wouldn't have the All-Star game in this city. Cut them off forever. And when you do, and you stop the flow of money, all this changes. They throw Larry Fink right out of the boardroom. They say, Larry, thanks, but no thanks. Get out. Oh, Klaus Schwab, no, we're not attending your conference anymore. Thanks, but no thanks. We're broke.
Right.
We're going bankrupt. But people aren't there yet. Sadly, people don't even know what ESG is. Sadly, they're not paying attention. Sadly, they're not connecting the dots. And people who do connect the dots for them get deplatformed. They get censored because they can't have that message. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not.
No, we're not.
My eyes are open. Your eyes need to be opened.
Right. I will tell you this, just one point finally for our audience. Remember, we've always heard the left talk about fascism. We got to fight against fascism, anti-fascist. Joe, and this is not me throwing around that word because guys like us actually know what this word means. They're the fascists. What you described about holding on to the major centers of power, media, Hollywood, government, big labor, big education, Wall Street, big business, that's corporatist. That's fascist. The idiots out there who call themselves anti-fascists don't even realize that what they're supporting is a fascist economic system, which is obviously, intertwined with the culture.
It's a great point. But why don't they care? Because it supports them. They're the fascists. That's the irony of this. They have no problem with what you just said because they're all on board. They're all on board.
Right. And listen, well, that's why, like we always say here at the front line with Joe and Joe, let's try to hold at least Republicans accountable on one issue, that the government cannot censor the speech that occurs on social media. And we have to tell social media companies that they can't just deplatform anybody, that misinformation and disinformation is a word that has to be eradicated from our political language. If you don't like what I say, fight against it. If you don't like what I say and you don't want to fight against it, then shut your mouth. But you're not going to take away my right to speak it, whether you're Facebook or YouTube, and Twitter, at least ostensibly right now, is a free speech platform. We're going to focus on Twitter along with YouTube and Facebook. But eventually, Joe, they're going to drop the hammer also, and hopefully Elon Musk doesn't. So we just have to keep saying it. Like you said, Joe. Eventually, the pot boils over, and hopefully, the change that comes, if the left is smart, is a political change and not anything that's going to be a little bit that would be more tragic than that, because we don't want that here at the front line with Joe and Joe. Thanks again, wherever you see us, particularly on Twitter. Like, subscribe, share, follow. Do all that fun stuff.